One of the greatest strengths of Destiny 2 PvP, despite all the meta imbalances, despite all the BS that occurs, is a satisfying gameplay and gunplay with a huge, and I mean huge, variety of builds that you can create. So, out of curiosity, I asked all of you, my lovely subscribers, to give me your most interesting PvP builds. And what you came up with is a mix of pleasantly surprising to, well, utter dog shit. Today I'll be going through 5 builds from all of you in the community, playing them and giving them my thoughts as a professor in PvPology. I will rate your build's offense, defense, survivability, versatility, speed, and consistency. Then I will give each of them a grade for flavor and viability, which tend to be at odds with one another. Flavor is a rating of how both unique and synergistic your build is, and viability is how well a player can actually pick up these tools and legitimately slay out with them. So, starting with none of these in particular, and no order in particular, we have Allison, who suggested Tommy's Matchbook, Sniper of my choice, Tome of Dawn, and Bottom Tree Solar. I'm assuming they meant Bottom Tree Solar Warlock. After deciphering that Tome of Dawn meant Wings of Sacred Dawn, I grabbed my items from the vault, grabbed some Glimmer from Spider, modded my armor. I wanted to make sure that these builds get their best chance possible, so I will run things like Scavengers and Unflinching and such. Even though the build maker didn't necessarily specify it, I queued up in Control, and I waited. And waited. And waited. And oh, for fuck's sake, it's Iron Banner Week. No one is playing right now. No one is playing Control right... Oh, never mind, I found a game. My mindset going into this was threefold. Number 1, Wings of Sacred Dawn suck. Number 2, Tommy's Matchbook is incredibly underrated. And number 3, oh fuck, it's Bottom Tree Dawnblade. Surprisingly, after pulling a nasty in-air double kill off the first contact, I knew that this build maker was actually Elon Musk. Sir, it's an honor that you watch my videos. This build actually kinda slaps. Like the Spanish Inquisition, no one is expecting you. You can put yourself into some weird positions and put bullets in heads like Bungie puts Crucible maps. Wait a minute. Nah, for real though, I was impressed. The exotic is super underrated, and I know why. It very much falls into the old saying of, if you're good, it's good, like Cammy Cake's telling everybody that 600 autos aren't a problem during the Season of the Worthy because he's clinically allergic to missing shots with his dire promise. The Wings has a disturbing amount of damage reduction. I was able to survive a yeeted Sentinel shield, like straight up, just tanked it, didn't even care. And Tommy's was actually the biggest hindrance to the build, much to my surprise. It's a absolutely great weapon, pushing TTKs lower than that of half a second when it's got its perk built up, but it's far too unwieldy in the air. If it's masochistic, burn me harder shacks, self-damage could proc the Wings dealing damage to stay in the air trait, this could actually be really cool. Offense 6, defense 7, versatility 6, survivability 7, speed 4, consistency 7, flavor A. I loved how this thing all ended up coming together. Viability, B. It's lacking a little bit of close range options, but all in all, not bad. A great one to start with, but don't worry, my pain will be entertainment yet, because next we had a Ruinous Effigy, 6 Coyote Kinetic Scout build. First of all, why do y'all like trace rifles? Sure, they're a slightly more consistent, slightly above average TTK weapon, but I would say that 95% of the time in PvP, an SMG or an auto rifle is just a better choice. You don't have to worry about ammo. And the worst trace rifle, in my professional opinion, is Ruinous Effigy. Damn, this thing sucks. Worst yet, I was expecting there to be a bit of trolling to be had in this invis dodge of Top Tree Night Stalker, but dodging destroys your fucking balls. I was expecting to be able to get the ball, roll, get invisible, run up to somebody, come on and slam, welcome to the jam, but as soon as I did that, my ball vanished from my hands. You know it's a problem when the best part of a build is a legendary scout rifle? There was no synergy between anything in my kit. Looking back on in the post, I'm not even sure if this was some clever ploy to inflict pain and suffering on me, or some kind of mirror dimensional rift torn where everything that's bad in our universe is actually top tier in this home universe of theirs. My only solace was the fact that I get to berate it mercilessly on the internet, so I don't have to spend money on therapy to undo the scars that this build left on my fragile psyche. Offense 2. Defense 4, thanks only to the fact that I had a scout rifle on Top Tree Tether that was actually somewhat synergistic for defense. Versatility 3, survivability 5, speed 6, consistency 2, flavor C. If this was even slightly more synergistic, this would be cool. I'm only giving you points for the fact that you're using some really weird weaponry. And viability D. Never ever, please do not take this into Crucible seriously. Like, the best thing about it is that it's got a scout rifle. That's being generous about this thing. it can only go up from here, right? Well, next we have Top Tree, Void, Nezarec, Sin, False Promises, and Telesto. Right out the gate, we can see some synergy being set up between here in the Nezarec, Sin, and Telesto, so I was excited. Because we're here on Top Tree Nova for this build, I even equipped a seasonal mod that gives me grenade energy on grenade kills, and the one that gives you bonus super energy on grenade kills, ashes to assets, but for cheaper. Because the only thing I like more than a small ball of void energy is a massive fuck-all sized ball of void devastation. Despite all of this, there is still a reason I generally advise against running Top Tree Voidlock in PvP. The grenades, despite being very deadly, take a long time to actually wind up, and unless you actually land a direct hit, most enemies have half a brain cell not to stand directly in the effect of the nipple-nibbling ball of void death that's sitting on the ground in front of them. I could run some other grenade other than the Vortex grenade, but I could also just run a normal fucking grenade launcher because the other two grenades are less useful than a screen door on a submarine, even when they're overcharged. As for the rest of the build, the Telesto is the star of this build, clearly. It can reach out clear across the map and slap the asses of enemies in its path, and it's generally pretty good as an anti-aping tool. The only problem with Telesto is that unless you are a Telesto simp, it's kinda difficult to get these to cross map, at least here on console, so shots don't really happen that consistently. As for the False Promises, I have always felt like the False Promises is the equivalent of, we have half Dan D at home, and then this is the half Dan D at home. It's slow, its range sucks, and even with dynamic sway roll, it kicks more than a Michael Bay cameraman with cerebral palsy. This build is clearly meant to be a defensive Gamma style build, if you're familiar with what we mean by that. The problem with it though is that it has no clear no option, because Telesto still has a detonation delay. Despite what the internet may tell you, telling a shotgun ape no won't stop them from legally being able to rush you down, because they don't give two damns about law and order. Offense 3, defense 7, versatility 5, survivability 5, speed 2, consistency 5, flavor A. This has some really clear, well-defined flavor that it's going for. Unfortunately, viability C-. I can't, with good conscience, recommend this build to people who are looking to really seriously up their game. Telesto's a fantastic exotic. Nezarec Sin's also pretty solid, but you just can't get enough oomph out of these grenades to really justify their use. If these were like old stasis style grenades, yeah, I mean, those things are hella powerful, but unfortunately, these just aren't it. We're coming around on the final two builds, but unfortunately, like a bad case of hemorrhoids, trace rifles have once again popped back up, and this time around, it's the Icy Hot build from Imperial Phoenix. Imperial states that the build has obviously more synergy with the Prometheus lens. He suggested that we run this with the Cold Heart first, so obviously we're going to be running with the Prometheus lens here, because this, with the Khepri's Horn as he suggested, is just a clear option for what we're going to be doing. The reason this build has caught my eye so well is the fact that it uses a thrall-ass head-looking Khepri's Horn, and despite what many of you may think in the community that it's worthless, I happen to know that the truth of this thing is, in fact, quite a nice troll choice. Not a single person is expecting to die from a barricade. That's like expecting to die from a lightning strike on a clear summer day after having just won the lottery. If spaced correctly, as this Fist of Havoc has experienced, it can deal around 200 damage on a target near instantly on the tip of its little solar blast, and best of all, any solar kills grant barricade energy. Prometheus lens kill, barricade energy. Grenade kill, barricade energy. Melee kill, barricade energy. Barricade kill, barricade energy. This allows you to be a very tanky boy. Slap perpetuation on your mark and you can do a damn fine job of holding your ground. The only problem is that this build uses a fucking trace rifle. I made a build similar to this using the Lord of Wolves, and I can tell you now that it is a far more powerful choice for the Khepri's combination than this Prometheus lens. Despite all my belly aching, I did enjoy my time. I would just say, just run Summoner instead. I don't get why you guys like trace rifles. Like, I get the TTK is faster, it's good range, good stability, but like you can just get that with a slightly slower TTK on an auto rifle, and you don't have to worry about trying to juggle ammo, and you can actually run a decent secondary weapon. I digress. Offense 5, defense 8. Really solid defense on this. Versatility 5, survivability 7, same reason. Speed 4, consistency 7, flavor A+. Probably some of the best flavor I've seen thus far, and viability B. All you really need to do is change out this secondary option, maybe make the primary a little bit better too. This sidearm wasn't super terrific. It's fine, but I mean, really, Khepri's really is that good. Getting a barricade up really frequently can be a really, really powerful thing, especially things like Trials of Osiris. Last on our list was a build that probably surprised me the most for how effective it actually was. It runs the Getaway Artist Traveler's Chosen, and it promises to have an Arc Soul up 100% of the time. It's pretty clear what the synergy is actually going for here, but there's even more synergy lying under the hood that's not immediately obvious. At least it would be. That's what I would have said had I gotten a freaking special weapon in this freaking... Okay, guys. When we're trying to make builds, when you're suggesting builds to me, please give me the full build. Don't just give me like 2 things. I've seen so many people say to run 2 weapons that could be run on any exotic or any sub. I'm getting off topic. Misum, stay on topic. You've got a time schedule to hit. You don't want this video to be too long. With Arc Souls dealing anywhere from 11 to 55 damage, it can really help the consistency of a grenade launcher, which is why we are running the Salvager's Salvo. The Traveler's Chosen, as he's chosen here, similarly is an incredibly underrated option, just like with the Arc Souls. Clocking in with a TTK faster than almost any other primary and the ability to gain 33% back of all of your abilities after a single kill in PvP, the combo of Traveler's Chosen and the Getaway Artist is mouth-wateringly good. Better yet, you can essentially damage boost all of your blueberries within the immediate area by 33 points of damage if you're running this on Bottom Tree Stormcaller, which is what I was actually running this with, as it obviously grants some clear synergy with the Arc Souls. Offense, 5. Defense, 8. Versatility, 7. Survivability, 6. Speed, 5. Consistency, 8. Flavor, A+. And viability, A-. If you're good with grenade launchers, holy damn, do you have a really nasty build in your hands. A great one to end it on. Thank you all for watching. If you have a build of your own, subscribe and leave a comment. Don't leave a comment without subscribing. It's just rude. If you want a better chance of getting my attention, our Patreon is linked in the description below. Bless your faces, and deuces.